Hey guys, so got a little bit of a different gun to do a video on today, so it might look normal. It's an OD green KRYTAC CRB. Big deal, right? Well, no, this isn't a V12. It's not a SSG, it's actually a DSG, okay? So I don't have a whole lot of DSGs on my channel. I did a few back a long time ago. I'm talking like when I had 300 subscribers. I had a DSG MP5 that never worked right, and then I had a DSG M4 that worked fine. I just could never find a BTC for it. But back then, I'm talking 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't know how to find a BTC. So I could have found one now, you know, for it, but that was a long time ago, and I didn't have connections like I do now. I own my own DSG. I have not made a video on it yet, so stay tuned for that. It might be before this, it might be after this video. I might not even come out with it. I'm going to be really busy soon, and I'm pretty busy now, so I don't know. But I do have a DSG, my SSG, that was shooting 40 rounds a second. I actually DSG'd it, and now it's shooting 50, so that's that. It is a KRYTAC base as well, so is this. So this is a friend's. I gave him a decent deal on working on the gun. I think I charged $30 or $40. Normally I charge $50 to build a DSG, just because they're basically the hardest AEG to build. A lot of people will try to argue with that. Most of those people have never built a DSG. DSGs are the hardest AEGs to put together. They just are. Some people build low-speed DSGs. There are people that will build 30 rounds a second DSGs. Obviously, those aren't as hard to build as a 45 DSG, RPS DSG like this, or a 50 like mine. There's a lot more tuning that goes into higher rate of fire. Yeah, let's just start from the back and go to the front. So it's got a matrix stubby stock on here. I purchased one for mine as well. It's perfect stock. The battery that we're using is a 1800 milliamp 40 to 50 C11-1. This is mine. I purchased the exact same battery for him, but it's charging now, and I have not wired it to Dean's yet. But literally the exact same battery. As far as 1800 milliamp, it won't last you all day. You might think 1800, that's a lot. DSGs pull a lot of power, especially when you're blasting on full auto. They drain a lot of power. So this battery right here would probably last half of a day in my DSG indoors, if I were to play with it. Half of a day, I'm talking, what, 4 or 5 hours of play. This stock is perfect. I do need to take this sling mount off. I mean, who runs a sling mount on their stubby stock? It's just one screw, you just pop that off. I need to do that. But plenty of storage space. Again, one battery for him. He asked if the 1800 would last all day, and I told him it wouldn't. Indoor, this is going to be a great gun for him to use, because some fields that we go to, people complain about HPA. Oh, you shoot quick with HPA. I shoot just as quick with an AEG, so this is that kind of thing where he can run an AEG and hopefully not get complaints or singled out because we use HPA. So we'll use AEGs and hopefully avoid that issue. So that's that. KRYTAC Defiance pistol grip. The Trident body, OD green like I said. This is, again, the Trident, so it's got the billet type receiver, charging handle, selector switch. I took the ambi feature out. There's no optic on here, no flashlight yet, but I guarantee he's going to get them. He does have 2 flashlights, so he might just switch them around from the guns, but he gets flashlights. I think it's like 30 bucks for the light and an 18650 for it, so I would just recommend buying a new light like he has on his other guns and mounting it on the top. Or the side if he wants, because this rail here could be moved like over here, so his light can mount on the side, and then maybe a T1 or something, because he runs a lot of T1s. You can get those pretty cheap. So that's pretty much it on the externals. It's the KRYTAC Defiance key mod, basic standard flash hider from KRYTAC, the black one. This is not plastic. This is a metal one. As far as the internals, it's got a BTC Spectre Mark 1, so this is what I run in my DSG as well. He got it for maybe 110 shipped, 100 I think, and it's fully functional, so great. It's in good shape, the wires are in good shape. The person that sold it to my friend had just got it back from Frank, so it had just been tuned up and fixed, I guess. It's running an ASG 30K motor. It's not the CNC, it's just the boost, so 30K boost. It's running the stock KRYTAC spur and bevel gear. Shimming is perfect. A SHS DSG, obviously 8-tooth. It's got KRYTAC bushings, because I have run KRYTAC bearings in 2 DSGs and 2 SSGs, and they all have broken. They've all explode. I've heard lots of people that run, in fact, I think Umbrella might even run the stock 8mm bearings in their builds, and I don't know how they last, because I get a few thousand rounds and they explode. I don't know if I'm shimming wrong. I've been shimming the same way for years and it works with everything else. SHS bearings break too in my experience, so I just say if you're running over 30 rounds a second, just go with bushings. Just do it. That's what I always preach, and that's what I use myself. So there's KRYTAC 8mm bushings in here. They're pretty decent, so it's what you kind of have to get with the KRYTACs, because the way the bushing holes are, the KRYTAC made bushings are what fits best. So that's what I'd recommend. If you have a KRYTAC and you want to go over 30 rounds a second, just get the steel KRYTAC bushings. We are running a Retro Arms, what is it, J trigger. It's silver. Trigger pull is shortened. It could have been shorter, but it's mine's a little bit shorter than this, but it's still decent. He'll still be able to work the trigger. It's got a Cyma metal rack piston. It's got a Matrix M150 spring. It's ball bearing spring guide. Stock nozzle. SHS tappet plate that's been cut for the DSG, of course. Am I missing anything else? Hop-ups, stock KRYTAC, Lonex 50 bucking, and a new barrel. As far as magazines, flash mags, he owns a few flash mags. He's got a few standard high caps, mid caps. He has like 3 EPMs. I'm going to test it with a GMP higher PS with .2s and one of my Vietnams with .2s. I probably told him to use 2.5s in this gun, so I have 2.5s loaded up in this flash mag and then just 2s in this standard high cap. But I think 2.5s is what he should run indoor and out, just to get a little bit better consistency. With the flash mags, he shouldn't run into feeding issues. Got it set for .2s, 353, 353, 353, 353, 354, 353. I'm not even kidding you, 355. That is incredibly consistent. 355, 358, 352, 349. So that was a drop. 356, went back up. 354, 356, 356, 357. Very consistent. There was occasionally 1 or 2 that went up or down. 357 is 1.18 joules, so almost 1.2 with the .2. That's a little hot for a 350 field, but most fields would allow that. Not all indoor fields are 350. Some are 370, 380, 400. But for 350 fields, 7 over should be fine. Vietnam style mag brand .2s. Semi is perfect. Okay, so at the end it starts to skip. Okay, so the last 10 it starts to skip. Pretty good, honestly. Let's try a GMP with 2s. Doing the same thing. Yeah, this was a little bit worse, to be honest. Alright, so got a little bit of an update here. So the only thing that changed with this gun was I S-hopped it. So the S-hop is basically a cheap R-hop, is pretty much the best way to describe it. But I mean, right now it shoots perfect. I can nail that tree every time. And that's not even really overhopped. We're not overhopping much at all. We're kind of flatlining it. Let's go ahead and turn it up just a little bit. There's a little bit of overhop. Just ever so slightly. So yeah, like I said, he's going to be able to get 200 feet out of 2.5s with this gun, which is pretty incredible for running the stock unit with a S-hop barrel and the Lonex 50, which has been flat hopped to use with the S-hop barrel. It's pretty incredible. But that's just incredible. Well, I got a really good burst and just destroyed that target. Perfect feeding. Trigger response is perfect.